Who are you and what bands are you in?
Kirk Windstein. Made Crowbar down. I was Kirk Windstein solo project. I'm in Kingdom of Sorrow with Jamie Josta, and yes, we are doing another album hopefully this year. And I have a new band with Kenny Icky and Johnny Kelly from Tango Negative. We were originally calling it I Am, but we really didn't care for the name, so we changed it to Sun Don't Shine. So we have a 7-song EP that's complete. We're going to do our first shows ever. We're in Europe in June with Sun Don't Shine. So I'm busy. It's kind of like, my day job is other music if it's not. I mean, Crowbar is the number one,
Mm-hmm.
But all the other projects are a lot of fun. They're all different from each other.
Yeah.
Which is great. I listen to all styles of music. So, it lets me kind of stretch out as a songwriter and guitar player or whatever. I do different shit. Like, I wouldn't want to do another band that's like a Crowbar ripoff or a Down ripoff or something. It wouldn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm. So, just give me a quick rundown of your setup. And,
super simple. This is my main Solar. This is my newest for Crowbar. I have one for Down also. This is X Series Kirk Windstein Solar with EMG, the 81 and 85. So I love it. Plays great, sounds great, stays in tune. That's all I need. So I come out of this lovely girl, and that's the extent of my pedal board. A tuner with woo on it, and I just go straight on in to the Quad Cortex, which I'm using the Bogner Ubershaw is what it is. So I went Randall to Marshall to Orange to Randall to Kemper. Now I'm on this. I'm just one of them. I'm always hunting. For tone, but I love it. It's got everything I need. So I run it pretty clean. It's got a tube screamer like in front of it, not built in. Big volume is about right now. Clean. The older I get, the more I like it clean and mid. Mm-hmm. But that's it, man. I mean, it's so simple. It does the job. It's got the Seymour Duncan power source, a 700-watt one. You can run 2 cabs off of this. Whereas a Kemper, you got to get a splitter and all that on to run too. But I normally just run a half stack. I mean, we're a DIY band. 90% of the band, you got bands with guys using Kemper and Quad Cortex direct in the in ears with like 0 stage volume. We got 20 cabinets up there for show, but I mean, nobody really uses a lot of. You just don't need it, So it makes life easy, but that's pretty much my rig, man. It doesn't get any easier.
So give me a 30-second version of your gear journey. Like, where did you start from? Like guitars, amps, pedals.
First amp I ever had was a Lab Series, which is very rare. I had an Epiphone acoustic, and my dad's cousin worked for Norland Music in the 70s. And Norland used to distribute Gibson guitars, Pearl drums, Moog, synthesizers, and Lab Series amplifiers. So my dad got a great deal on a Les Paul Custom for me back in 78 when I was 13. That was my first, and then with my first real job and my first real band, Victoria Blitz, with like a cover song band, I bought a Chauvel. It's a San Dimas. It's like an old, I think it's serial number 4073, so it's before the Jackson merge and all that shit. It's got a Duncan distortion at 1 volume. I use that thing on a ton of stuff, and since then, I've used a lot of different stuff. I'm with Solar guitars now, and I love them.
Nice.
My first real amp, of course, was a Marshall, I think I had a JPM or something, JCM 800s and shit like that. And then Dimebag turned me on to Randall amps in the 80s when Phil and Selma first joined. Thankfully, they're not coming for us. But so when Phil first joined, Dime was using Randall, and he had an amazing tone. So, and they were very inexpensive. amps. So I actually have 9 of the old RG100 ESs. So that's been my tone mainly with Crowbar for our whole career. Even use it on some of the Down 2 record. And then I went to Orange for a while, which I love. More for Down. Me and Pepper Keenan started using it with Down, for Down. Like we met Alex and then at the NAMM show in 2009, I think. And we were like, let's give this a shot. So it worked out great for me with Down, but with Crowbar, it wasn't the right tone, So I went back to Randall, and then I do a lot of fly date things here and there. Like with Jamie Josta and friends, I'll sit in and do a couple of Kingdom of Sorrow songs, a few Crowbar songs, whatever. And I had done in 2022 with Down. We did Copenhagen, Grass Pop, and Hellfest festivals, and I had Marshall backline, which I normally love, the JCM 800s, and it just didn't. I wasn't happy with the tone. I did a fly date for Josta and friends to Orlando, and the head I had sucked. And I said, you know what? F this. Everybody else was using Dino from Fear Factory was there, and he had the Kemper, and his tone was great. And I'm like, I'm getting one of these Kemper things. So I use that, and I know I'm going over my 30 seconds, but this is my history. I mean, I've been doing this a long time, but we were doing, I think it was Decibel or Revolver, Metal and Beer Fest in Philly, and we would direct support to Biohazard. Well, both bands were sound checking early in the morning. Like Bio had like a 10 a.m., we had like an 11 a.m., and Billy Bio came over and said, man, you using the Kemper? And I said, yeah. He said, dude, check this out. And he had recently gotten the Quad Cortex, the SP Quad Cortex, and he said, I was using a Kemper, and Biohazard were old Megadeth, and he said my Kemper was giving me issues, and Dave Mustaine said, dude, check this thing out, you'll love it. So Billy got me the hookup, I ordered it, and the rest is it. I love it. I don't really see a need to go back. I mean, ideally with Down, using like, 2 Marshall stacks with JCM 800s or something, or Orange, is better. So I don't even really know what I'm going to use with Down coming up. I've been using Randall, my old Randalls, and it sounds fine with that too, So
honestly, whatever works.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not one of these, and I don't believe in like, boutique amps and all this kind of shit. I've tried a bunch of them out, and they all sound terrible to me. It's just me. But I mean, I think I've gotten great tones over the years. On all the records. I mean, I have 19 albums out now. My new solo coming out in, I think, early February will be my 20th record. So I've used a little bit of everything, especially with Down. So I'm using the Bogner that's built into the Quad Cortex. I guess it's the Ubershaw, which I use that amp on pretty much all of Down 3 over the Under album, and I really loved it. So I'm real happy with the tone I'm getting out of that thing right now.
Yeah, that sounds insane.
Thanks.
Like just from like standing on stage and being in front of the amp, just
it's clean. It's got all, I'll ask the sound men, ladies, whoever. I'm like, did you have to do much to the guitar EQ? All of them are like, I don't even touch the EQ. It's already EQ'd.
Yeah, just need to put the volume up.
Yeah, just put it through the PA, put it through the monitor. Sure.
Oh, yeah.
I'm really happy with it, man. So it's a simple, but simple is good. If I can get enough gain out of the amp, I don't even really, I prefer to not even have to have a like stomp box distortion or anything. But I find a lot of times if you put something in front of it or between the guitar and the amp, however you want to call it, any kind of stomp box, if you put the drive like super, super low, almost on 0, and put the level on 10, when you engage it, it just kind of tightens up your sound. It doesn't add saturation.
Yeah.
It just kind of tightens up your tone and everything. So I find that with low stands, I like having it there. I think it tightens it up.
What's a piece of gear that you just couldn't live without? That could be like guitar, pedal, amp.
It would be the Quad Cortex, because that's my, like, I mean, if I have to, I have my Kemper out in case for a backup, but that's my tones. So that, and with Crowbar, definitely my solo guitars are just great.
It looks like.
They look great. They play great. They sit well on you. You can tell they're really well made. And I have a new signature with Down as well. I used at a fly date in New Mexico. So, but I mean, I also use, Gibson, Les Pauls, Explorers, Ibanez, Iceman's, you name it. I mean, I've got all kinds of I've got guitars I don't even know I have, and I'll dig through a closet at the rehearsal room, and I'm like, what the is, oh my God.
Yeah.
So
it's like Christmas coming back.
Yeah. So I'm not, like super freaked about, because I don't have one special effect or something that I need, where if it went down, I'd be, I'd try to have backups for everything,
Is there any pedals like in particular that you feel like top three that you've used?
That's I think I got a Dunlop. It's the one. See, Shane, our bass player for Crowbar, Shane Wesley, he's my tech for Down, so he knows more of my gear than I do.
Yeah.
But I have the wah that you don't need to click it to engage it.
Yeah.
As soon as you put your foot on and press down, it's wahing. It could be a Dunlop, it could be Morley, I don't know, but you just, as soon as you put your foot on it, it's engaged. Because I used to fight with it. Like, you can't tell, at full volume on stage. I usually went down a lot, and I'd go to click it, and I'm doing my solo, and I'm with this thing trying to play. And then finally I click it at the end of the solo, and it's in the wah position, while I'm doing the rhythm, and I'm like, so I was using the Slash Crybaby for a while, which was a smart thing. And the reason I used it was for no particular reason with the sound, but it had a little blue light on the right side of the pedal when it was engaged. So if I'm sitting there stomping on because I don't know if you use a wah. I
do, yeah.
You can't just put your foot and tap it. You gotta stomp the bitch there. Yeah. So with the Slash one, it lit up, and I'm like, okay, I'm good to go. I'd usually get it rolling right before the solo would start, or if it's a break, a guitar part where I'm doing the wah. So that was good. Somehow that thing got lost, and I told Shane, I said, just figure out what the one that you just step on. Yeah, and so that's my favorite of any effect.
Yeah,
it really is.
What's one piece of gear that you wish existed but hasn't been made yet? So it could be like a modification, an existing product, or some idea that you have in your head.
This is kind of jumping around your question, but what I don't like about gear is that every time they make something that everybody loves, they quit making it and change it. All these companies, they're trying to how can we make it fancier with more? Kids want, when I say kids, I mean teenagers, new people starting out, they think more is better. If you got 3 channels with 50 knobs on there, they think they're getting more bang for their buck than if you just have a regular bass, treble, mid, presence, master and gain. That's all I need. But it's there's a lot of just different pedals and things over the years that the older ones from the 70s and 80s, they still make and still call it the same thing, but they just don't sound, they've changed them and they don't sound like they used to. It's like the original, it's like if it ain't broke, don't fix it, but they're always trying to put out new product and keep selling a brand that's been around forever, and I understand that, but the reason that people use the brand that's been around forever is because it works. So a lot of y'all keep changing it.
It's like they put too much into the point where you kind of lose what made it special in the first place.
Thank you. So I mean, as far as something that's not created yet, I don't really know, because I'm not much of a gearhead anyway. I'm not a real technical, I don't even know, I literally have gaff tape showing me where to plug in the Quad Cortex. I'm not even kidding. Engineer Dwayne Simino at OCD Recording Production, he had to show me how to hook this thing up, because I'm old school. Like I told him, I said, dude, you need to realize, to me, this needs to be a Randall, a Marshall, an Orange, old school thing with 4 or 5 just EQ knobs, master and gain. I can't have all kind of buttons to press and all this other kind of because I don't use it anyway.
Yeah, exactly. It's just unnecessary.
Even with down, I mean, I use effects, but even if there's in certain songs there's a lot of dynamics, I usually use a tube screamer with whatever amps I'm using with down. So I'll tap that off and go to like my chorus usually for a clean part. But I just use my volume knob, and if it's going back to a heavy part, chorus comes off, tube screamer comes back on, you're back to everything. I just do it the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, which is, again, it's not broken.
Yeah, for me it works. That's how I grew up.
Are there any products you want to get in your hands when you haven't been able to?
No, man, I got a ton. I got a load of gear, so
yeah.
I mean, I think I have about 15 412 cabs. So I have Mesas, I have Randalls, I have Oranges, I have Marshalls, I have, Randall heads, Marshall heads, Orange heads, Kempers, Quad Cortex, Les Pauls, SGs, Explorers, Icemans, Destroyers. There's Destroyers, and then my new Solar stuff. So I pretty much got everything I need.
Yeah. Plus, like being in so many different projects, it's kind of hard to say like what is like the best thing for you, because you use so many different things.
For certain bands, certain things work.
Yeah.
Like there is the sound of down is a lot of it's, to me, is visual. That we have to sound old school, so we have to use older gear, old guitars, because it really doesn't sound any better to me, but it's visual. It's the same thing. An analogy of that would be well, we're using Orange and Gibson, so we're gonna sound great, even though it sounds fine with something else too, but it's the same thing when they came out with like Kemper and now Quad Cortex and all this kind of stuff. It's like if I literally put 2 JCM 800s up there and plugged them in and turned on the Marshall heads and ran the cables and all this, like it looked like I was using that, and used a Quad Cortex behind it, everybody be like, dude, the Marshall sound amazing. As soon as you tell them you're using a Quad Cortex, those things suck.
Yeah,
and it's like wait a minute. It's like listen with your ears, not your eyes. If you're really like a gearhead, if that's because I'm so busy with music, which is a great thing and a wonderful blessing, believe me. But it's like when I pick up a guitar, it's either to write, to rehearse, or to perform, or record, whatever. I don't sit around. I'm not like one of them people that they just want to pick out on everyone's solos and pick out stuff and all. I've done all that when I was younger because I had to do cover songs, and I never took a lesson. So I don't know I don't have any formal training. I don't know any theory or anything. But to me, it actually makes my style sound like the writing style of Crowbar, more original, because especially with the harmonies, we do a lot of dark harmonies in Crowbar. Yeah. And a lot of times guys that know theory, like Matt, the other guitar player, Crowbar, Matt Bronson, and Shane are both schooled and they know theory. Kenny is as well. Kenny Hickey is. And me and Pepper and I are not. We just picked up guitars and started banging around on it. But to me, it kind of makes, because I don't know what the rules are. So I just pick the notes that sound right. I don't play the harmony on my solo album, I'm in the studio and I'm like, I'll come up with this weird harmony, and then Dwayne will look at me because he's like, it's not supposed to work, but it works. And I'm like, that's what I'm looking for. Yeah. So I don't know what's supposed to work and not work. So I just go for it. And if it sounds good, then it is.
I have background with lessons and stuff, but I feel like having knowledge on music theory it's good because you know where to go with it. But it's also a problem because I feel like I'm limited within my parameters of it has to be in this scale.
Yeah, or you're afraid to hit
exactly
dissonant note Even though it sounds good, so
Yeah. So
that's the only thing I'm thankful for, that I don't have like formal training, because I just make up like I use the Rick Nielsen theory. I love Cheap Trick, and I love his songwriting. I think he's amazing. And he says, I'm sure there are names for these chords that I make up.
Yes.
I just don't know the names of them.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's how I am. I make up all these weird little like harmony chord things that have a name.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not the first one to ever do it, of course. But because I'm just, still after 47 years of playing guitar, it's still exciting to write,
awesome.
and to create. Yeah. I mean, otherwise I wouldn't be doing it. People ask me that all the time. I'm like, I make a living, I make a nice enough living, but I got to play in 100 bands to do that and stay busy all the time. But, if I didn't love, the process of writing, recording, and touring and getting on stage and playing, I would have quit a long time ago and become a electrician or something. Something more safe and consistent.
Yeah, more cushiony.
Yeah, as far as a job.
How do you personally put value on gear? Because you can obviously put like dollars and whatnot, but what do you makes a piece of gear have value?
Like for guitars, for instance, my rule, being a musician that tours a lot, my rule for guitar is I don't give a if it's got your name on the headstock. If it plays good, sounds good, looks cool, stays in tune night after night, I can pick my Solar up out the case and it's in tune from the last song at the last show, which was a totally different climate, and everything else. Yeah. So to me, that makes for a great touring guitar. It's like you don't want to be fighting tuning issues and this and that, electronic issues. So I just try to keep up with keeping out all of my guitars that I use, always intonated, always all the electronics clean and all that kind of stuff, so that when they don't break on me when I need them most.
Yeah.
Same with amps. You could build some in your garage and bring it to me right now, and if I think it sounds great, I'll use it. I don't believe in that, like I said earlier, like the boutique amp thing. I mean, some of them sound great, but, to me, a lot of the most expensive amplifiers don't. I mean, maybe for a different style of music. Yeah. That's the thing, too. I'm a one-tone guy with basically Crowbar and down, so, but that's kind of like my rule, is just with guitars, with amps, whatever. If the amp sounds great, it's rugged, it can take a beating and live on the road without breaking all the time, then you got a great amp.
Yeah, no, definitely.
If the guitar sounds great, plays great, stays in tune, you got a great guitar.
What's a piece of gear that constantly has you inspired, wanting to play it, wanting to write with it? Is there any one in particular, or any a couple of instruments, or?
I just find that whatever, when I say real rig, I mean not practice. Most of my playing at home, I don't even plug in a practice amp. I do, even for writing. But I find that when I say I'll go to the rehearsal room on my own, and I'm using that rig that I'm playing with tonight, I find that I'm more inspired when I can have a great tone and crank it up. Yeah. While I'm writing, I find that that's more of an inspiration than any particular piece of gear. But going to the rehearsal room, or even writing with the band where we're at, they always make fun of me because I'm the oldest and my hearing's shot. And they're like, Jesus, you're so loud. They call me, old man, you're so loud, old man. And I'm like, well, that's the way I grew up. You wanted to hear yourself, you turn the thing up.
Yeah, it's a feel thing too. There's something special about
when the floor's vibrating in your hands, you feel it and you got power in your hand.
Mm-hmm. No, definitely. Thank you so much.
You got it. Thank you.
Is there anything you want to say to anyone out there?
I'm just, thanks to everybody who supports me and Crowbar down, Sun Don't Shine, Kingdom of Sorrow, my solo stuff, and anything else I might come up with for all these years. You know, I really appreciate it. So thank you. And, you know, I'm going to keep on rocking until I drop.
Hell yeah. Thank you so much again.
You got it. Thank you.